Hi guys, I've just left off from reading a poem called New Desk, where Keck finds out that he gets to go to school for free. The next poem that we're going to read is called Ready, and it starts on page 70. Ready. You're not going to understand a lot of what we say at first, Miss Hernandez says. This is called an ESL class. You and your classmates will be learning English together. It means they won't always understand you, and you won't always understand them. I'm used to not understanding, I say. It's like playing a game with no rules. She nods. That's exactly what it's like. I know because when I came to the US from Mexico, I could not speak a word of English. This is a surprise. A teacher who did not know all things? Did you not know things also? I asked Mr. Franklin. Me? I'm from Baton Rouge, he says. That's kind of like another country. I couldn't understand these crazy northern folks for the longest time. Some of his words get lost on their way to my ears, but I can see from his face that his meaning is kind. When you have a question, Mr. Franklin and I will be here to help you, says Miss Hernandez. She points to the sky. You just raise your hand like this, okay? I nod, I say, okay. Just like her, I raise my hand. Yes, she says, smiling big. I ask, when will the learning begin? Cattle on page 73. Cattle. In my class, my long name class, called English as a Second Language, we are 16. 16 people with 12 ways of talking. When we talk at once, we sound like the music class I can hear down the hall. Hoots and squeaks and thuds, but no songs you can sing. I look at our faces and I see all the colors of the earth, brown and pink and yellow and white and black, and yet we are all sitting at the same desks, wanting to learn the same things. Miss Hernandez tells everyone my name and my old home. Then she asks us to draw a picture on the black wall to show where we come from. One boy, Jaime from Guatemala, draws a mountain with a hole called a volcano. Sahar from Afghanistan draws a camel, though to be truthful, it looks like a lumpy dog. I draw a bull with great curving horns. Okay, here is an image of what a bull looks like. So this is what Keck is drawing on the board. It's a male cow. Remember, cows are really important in his to his people in his village. Oops, sorry. So we're back here on page 74. I draw a bull with great curving horns, like the finest in my father's herd. I even give him a smile, but it takes me a while to decide on his coat. In my words, we have 10 different names for the color of cattle, but the writing chalk is only white. I'm working on the tail when someone in the back of the room says, Moo! Then more say it, and soon we are a class of cattle. At last we can all understand each other. I think maybe some of the students are laughing at me, but I don't mind so much to hear the cattle again is good music. Lunch on page 76. After much schooling, a sound comes like a great bee buzzing. The bell means lunch, Mr. Franklin explains. He gives me a small piece of blue paper. This is for your food. Thank you very much, I say in my most polite English words, but I don't understand how the paper can help my noisy belly. You give the paper to the cooking people and they will give you food, Mr. Franklin explains. Tastes much better than paper, he laughs. Well, usually anyway. The eating room is grand, with long tables and strange and wonderful smells, and many students chattering. I stand in a line, and soon kind white hatted people fill my plate high with food. Ahead of me, I see the snowball girl named Hannah from my building. She says, Don't eat the mystery meat if you value your life. Then she points to a brown, wet pile on my plate and makes a face that says bad taste. When my tray is heavy with the gifts of food, I stand still in the stream of students. I don't know where to go to enjoy my feast. Hannah waves. Follow me, she says. I'll tell you what's safe to eat. But it's also fine, I say. She shakes her head. Kid, you got a lot to learn. Page 79, fries. We sit at one of the long tables. Nearby are two students from my class, Jaime, the boy from Guatemala, and Nishan, the girl from Ethiopia. Hey, Jaime says. Hey, I say back, but I can't talk anymore because my mouth is already full of new tastes. Excuse me, I say when I have swallowed at last, but what is this amazing food? I hold up a brown stick. Fry, Hannah says. One of the 5 major food groups. This fry, it grows in your American ground, I ask. Hannah laughs, a sound like bells on a windy day. I suppose you could say that. You're Keck, right? I know because I asked your cousin. Hannah passes me a paper cup filled with strange and beautiful red food. Ketchup, she says. You dip your fries in it. I do what she says, then eat. You're a fine cook, I say. Hannah and Jaime and Nishan laugh. I feel glad I found enough words to make people happy. When friends laugh, it's always a good surprise. Not knowing. I see your cousin at the apartment sometimes, Hannah says. He's very quiet. I have to think for a moment. To eat such happy food and think about words at the same time is much work. Ganwar, I say, has many worries. He seems kind of sad, Hannah says. I look at the fry in my hand with its shiny coat of red. I want only to eat and not to remember, but Hannah's words tug like a tight rope on a calf's neck. Ganwar lost his father and his sisters when the fighting came, I tell her. Hannah nods. Her eyes are blue and gray, and maybe green. I can't be sure. I remember a kind of doctor at the camp with such eyes. How did he lose his hand? Hannah asks in a gentle voice. I don't know the words for this. Some English words I hope I never learn. Men came with guns and knives to our village, I answer at last. To be in such fighting, says Nishan, is very bad. And what about your family? Jaime asks me. I stop eating. I take a breath. My father and my brother Lual, they were killed by government men. I saw it. I pause. As a memory pokes at me like a knife in my back. I was lucky to see, I add. Lucky? Hannah asks. Her voice says she doesn't understand. Nishan looks at me with eyes that know of such things. Maybe Keck means lucky to know for sure, she explains. Not knowing is the hardest. Yes, I agree, the hardest. How about your mom? Hannah asks softly. I Guilt grabs my throat. I will not go to that black place today. I try again. She'll come, I say. I'll wait for her. Waiting is hard too, Hannah says, and I can see that she also knows sad places. I push my tray away. I'm not so hungry anymore. So that's the end of page 84 and the end of week 4 reading. You guys will start up on page 85 next week for week 5. Remember that all of your week 4 work is due by on Friday by 5 p.m. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to one of your teachers. Thank you.